And this is a feeling that a lot of people get, and I want to get your input on it. From the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ also, إِنَّ لِكُلِّ عَمَلٍ شِرَّةٍ وَإِنَّ لِكُلِّ شِرَّةٍ فَتْرَةٍ. The hadith. So, every action had its peak. So, and then it drops low. Is that the case? Is this a case in every, like, is it in every case, whether it's new to Islam, whether it's new to repentance, whether it's getting closer to Allah, you just feel you want to do so much, and then you have seen people who are just dropping low. We're not going to say dropping at all, but not the same like before. Is that a feeling? Is that a normal feeling? People having that problem in Ramadan now.
Yeah, Sheikh, listen. If our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said li kulli amalin, right, shirra, then we know that it's for every action, right? For every category of action, you'll find that there's a period of enthusiasm, and then there's a period of fatra, where a person just kind of is not as enthusiastic. And I'm missing the English word. If you got one for me, that would be great. And there's a period of inactivity where it kind of just plateaus, right? But to complete the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَتْرَتُهُ إِلَى سُنَّتِي فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى. Whoever's period of plateauing, where it's not going up, he's not really excited, but he still sticks to the teachings of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He's not going too far right or left. He's still staying on that middle course. فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى. That person is guided. So the point is that even at periods where you're not as enthusiastic as you once were, you still don't go so low that you leave the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, right? And that's so you see that in a couple things. The first is that every Muslim should have some level of tatawwu', voluntary actions, that protects his fard, and that's going to protect his obligations. So there needs to be some type of sunnahs as it relates to your salat. Your fasting shouldn't just be Ramadan and there should be some other level of fasting. Even with your zakat, there should be some level of charity. And everything that we do, every aspect, there should be a level that we try to go, above the obligation, such that, as Ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma said, أحب أن أجعل بيني وبين الحرام حاجزا من الحلال. I like to put between myself and the haram a barrier of halal, such that if I start getting weak in iman, I'm not dipping into the halal, I'm not dipping into the haram, right? I might be going from mustahab to something that's encouraged for me to do. I kind of leave that off, and I'm going to a place where it's halal, but I'm not dipping all the way into the haram. And so, yeah, every action has that period of enthusiasm where you're gung ho, you want to do it, and then it tapers off, and then there's ebbs and flows. But you don't want your low points to get to the point where it takes you into something that would be displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we look to this month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so wise and so merciful in how he prescribes his ibadah for us, right? So if we look, for example, the most important day of Hajj, and I'll get back to Ramadan in a minute. The most important day of Hajj is what, Yashir?
Arafah.
Yawm Arafah. Do we just jump off the plane? You're coming from New York, you jump off the plane, you land in Arafah? La. What happens is obviously, if you're making tamattu', you're going to make umrah before that. There's going to be some other acts of ibadah. You're starting to get into condition. And then you go to Mina on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, right? Yawm Arafah is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. The 8th of Dhul Hijjah, what manasik are there? None. You're just in Mina. You're just praying. But you're getting accustomed now to what? Number one, being in ihram, which can be uncomfortable. So, well, even if it's not uncomfortable for everybody, it's a new experience, right? You're in these tents with everybody, people that you may not know. I mean, but the whole point is you're getting accustomed. Allah Azza wa Jalla is giving you that period to warm up so that when you get to Arafah, you can give it your all. You've already gotten the strange things out the way. You've gotten accustomed a bit to, your new situation, and then you can go and really give it your all on Yom Arafah. And if you look at it too, Mina, the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, is an entire day, right? You spend an entire day. So even if you got to Mina before Dhuhr, you got there sometime at Duha time, from that time to Arafah is a full 24 hours.
Yes.
The time that you spend on Arafah is more like 6 hours. So you get the warm-up time is a lot more than the time that you have to actually exert yourself. Now, if we look at Ramadan, what's the most important night in Ramadan?
Laylatul Qadr.
Laylatul Qadr.
If we know it.
The Prophet ﷺ said, "Taharraw Laylatul Qadr fil ashr al-awakhir min Ramadan." Seek out Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, not the first 10 nights. So what happens is what? We got 20 days to prepare for 10. Allah Azza wa Jalla gives us this 20 days. So in 20 days, you're going to go through your ebbs and flows. You're real enthusiastic. Some day, man, you got busy. You had to go do this. You wound up. Yeah, those 20 days. But the point is, by the time you get to the last 10 nights, are you worried about getting up for suhoor? Are you worried about what you're going to eat? No. Those 20 days took care of all of that type of thing. So now what happens is you get to focus on what really matters, which is that ibadah at nighttime. Okay. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, if we just ponder, okay, because أَفَلَمْ يَدَّبَّرُوا الْقَوْلِ, have they not pondered over the speech? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us enough, wallahi, in one ayah, He's given us enough to make us strive for those 10 nights. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. So let's just stop there, Shaykh Ammar, because I think that if we ponder what this really means, it'll allow us to really benefit from the last 10 nights of Ramadan. So if you don't mind, can we just take a couple minutes? I want to go through something. And you got to help us out on this one.
Go ahead, inshallah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. But you got to help us out.
Inshallah.
How's your math skills, Sheikh?
Nah, not like you, Sheikh. I just read that you graduated from the Central 95 with your major in mathematics.
Forget all that.
Okay.
Listen,
mathematics.
Don't worry about that. This is simple mathematics.
They claim I'm an engineer. That's what they claim.
Yeah, well, khalas. That means basic mathematics. You'll be able to get this, inshallah. Okay. So let's ponder Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr.
No.
That the Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. What that means is that the worship that you do, Laylatul Qadr, Allah Azza wa Jal will write it for you and multiply the reward for you as if you were worshiping Him for 1,000 months. Right? Okay. Now, let's just kind of break that down so we can understand what that means. Right now, our nights, okay, and 1,000 months, as we know, is like 83 years and some change, right? Okay. Right now, it is 83 years shway, kasar. Okay. So if we look at it right now, the nights approximately, depending on where you are in America, but approximately 8 hours. Okay. All right, here's where your math skills come in, Sheikh. 8 hours is better than 80 years, right? Okay. So if 8 hours is better than 80 years, then each hour is better than how many years, Sheikh?
Oh, no. It's not gonna.
80 divided by 8. Khalas. That means each hour is better than 10 years. Sheikh.
10 full years of ibadah.
Allahu Akbar. So if we stand in Qiyam, listen, if I stand in Qiyam for 1 hour, then that means Allah Azza wa Jalla will write it for me better than as if I was standing in Qiyam for 10 years. Yes, Sheikh. Is there? No, really. If you think about it, it's just like, wait a minute. This is enough to push anybody. Now, let's take it. Let's take it and translate it into something we can all relate to. No. And Allah Azza wa Jal says about us, the children of Adam, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. We are, our love for khair, which here is wealth, is shadeed. You know, it is. Are you still there, Shaykh? Or you left us? Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay. Allah Azza wa Jal says that our love for wealth, our love for property is so strong. Yeah, it's strong. So let's translate that. If your boss says to you, I need you to come in, I need you to work the night shift, the graveyard shift. I know you used to work in the nights, but I need you to work graveyard shift for 10 nights. On one of those 10 nights, for every hour you work, I'm going to give you 10 years salary.
Allahu Akbar.
For every hour you work. I'm not going to tell you which night it is, but it's one of these 10 nights. Okay? For every hour you work, I'm going to give you 10 years salary. SubhanAllah. So if your salary is $50,000, for example, a year, then for every hour, you're going to get $500,000.
Allah.
Ya akhi, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody's going to make i'tikaf at work.
Yeah, that's sunnah.
You know why? Because they're gonna say, wait a minute, if I go back and forth, I might get in a car accident. Anything might happen. I know I don't want to miss this opportunity. Every hour counts. Well, like every hour counts, right? Because but what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ma indallahi khayrun wa abqa. What is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is even better than that. $500,000 means nothing. For every single hour, Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling you, I'm going to reward you. I'm going to write this reward for you as if you were worshiping me for more than 10 years. Because he says, khayrun, better than 1,000 months, not equal to.
No.
Shaykh Ammar, I want to go a step further though. So we can really understand how important it really is for us to take advantage of these last 10 nights. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq to take advantage of the opportunities that he is giving us. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. He's given us these opportunities to correct our affairs, to be forgiven for our sins. And our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Man qama laylatul qadri imana wa ihtisaba, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi. Whoever stands the night of Qadr, then Allah Azza wa Jal, imanin with true faith and seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's reward, then Allah will forgive him for all of his previous sins. Now listen, if we take it a step further, if every hour is like 10 years, that means that 10 years is 120 months, just so that you know. That means that every minute, which is 60 seconds, that that there's 60 minutes in an hour. It means that every minute is like 2 months, Allah. And that's how we have to approach Laylatul Qadr. I don't want to waste 1 minute because it's not a minute. On Laylatul Qadr, my minute is really 2 months. I don't want to waste a minute. I don't want to talk about anything foolish. I don't want to do anything like this. I don't even want to spend extra time in the bathroom. So I'm going to eat less. I'm going to drink less. I don't want to waste any time on Laylatul Qadr. And I don't know exactly when Laylatul Qadr is, but I know it's in these last 10 nights, which start at Maghrib on Wednesday night. I don't want to waste any time. And we really have to look at that. Every minute is 2 months. And so if we push ourselves, I'm telling you, that's just shwayat tadabbur. It's a little bit of pondering over Laylatul Qadri, khayrun min alfi shahr. Not to mention, the practice of our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and looking at the practice of the Salaf, because subhanAllah, you will find ajaib. The way that they use their time, simply amazing. The amount of time that they would spend not memorizing, but reciting the Quran, amount of time that they would spend in the salat. The point is, even changing your niyyah. So when you're eating that iftar, what you're going to be doing on Laylatul Qadr, you're going to eat iftar, but you're going to do it following the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. You're not going to overeat. You're going to eat what's necessary. to just give you the energy that you need, and that's your niyyah. Your niyyah for eating is not because you haven't eaten all day and this food is just delicious. Your niyyah is that I'm eating this because I need the strength so that I can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through this night, and seeking out Laylatul Qadr and calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making dua to him. And if you can do that for the last 10 nights of Ramadan, it really doesn't matter what happened in the first 20, because the reality is if your hal tastaqim, if your condition, becomes upright and right in those last 10, that's when the race is won. The race is won in the last lap. So if you, mashallah, if you come out like lightning, the first 2 rounds, but then on the last lap, you slow down. That's not the time to slow down. It's not the time to worry about what Eid is going to look like and, getting a nice stove and all that type of stuff. Like, you should have done that. Matter of fact, you still got a couple days. Whatever you're trying to do for the Eid, get that out the way. Get that planning out the way now. Laylatul Qadr, the nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan, that needs to be dedicated solely to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a person should do their best not to sleep in those last 10 nights if they have the ability. There are people who obviously, they have the type of shift at work that necessitates that they get some kind of sleep at night. And providing for your family is an absolute necessity. And that's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made an obligation, upon the men of this ummah. So, we have to be balanced as well. But for those people who have the ability to change their schedules for the last 10 nights, then by all means we should, and we really should be asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from now to make us from amongst those who reach Laylatul Qadr and who stand at imanan wa ihtisaba.
Even Shaykhna, if it's at the houses, remember we had the meeting, we had the conference before Ramadan, and you said this Ramadan, I remember your wording, this Ramadan is not going to be easy. We might say it's this Ramadan. So so far we have seen, even if people are going to stay at the house, there's no worry this year about Eid and Salah.
Let me tell you this. There's right. It's not easy. It's but the Prophet ﷺ laid out for us a principle which makes things very promising. And that is when he said to Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, inna ajraki ala qadri nasabik. Your reward is commensurate with, it coincides with the difficulty. Not difficulty that you impose on yourself. That is not from Islam. And you're not supposed to make things more difficult upon yourself, thinking that you're going to get more reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you made it difficult on yourself. That doesn't even, doesn't make sense.
No.
But the difficulty that you have not imposed on yourself, it just so happens that you are in a difficult situation, qadran. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed. Then your reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that worship is increased. And so, because it is more difficult this Ramadan, you don't have that communal spirit, which tends to make ibadah easier. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the wisdoms that the scholars mention from the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Right? Fasting has been prescribed for you all like it has been prescribed for those before you. Was to do what? To make us feel a little bit better. Oh, we're not the only ones that what? We're not the only ones that have to fast. The other ummahs, that preceded us, they also had to fast. So psychologically, it kind of helps, to know that you're not the only one that has to do this, right? So likewise, the communal aspect of ibadah, being able to go to the masjid and get that spirit of everybody there, worshiping at the same time behind the same imam, that's a beautiful thing. And for most people this Ramadan, that's not a reality. Alhamdulillah, we're still praying Tarawih at the masjid. And we have qiyam at 2:00 in the morning, scheduled. If you want to fly over to Philly, ahlan wa sahlan.
If they are allowed, I'm coming. Allah musta'an.
Ahlan wa sahlan, ya Shaykh. Alhamdulillah, our masjid is I mean, the masjid that we're hosting tarawih and qiyam it's a large masjid, and the number of people is very small, to be honest with you. We're following the fatwa of the ulama, who have mentioned that in the areas in those countries where salat is allowed, so long as social distancing is observed, then we're following that fatwa that says that it's permissible, and we're also social distancing in the salat. So there are gaps in the rows, which is a different story. We're not getting into big fiqh discussion tonight. So the point is that even with that, it's not the same vibe as it normally is when the message is packed and full and everybody's standing, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder, and it's not the same vibe. But with that difficulty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards his servant more, and we should anticipate that reward and do our best to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under whatever our circumstances may be.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhna. The time is flying. Time is flying with you, and I know we're running away from the interview part, but the Shaykh, there's
Ghafar Allahu lak, ya Shaykh. Didn't you say like half hour?
No, I didn't say half an hour, Shaykhna. I said from 9. We're starting from 9. That's all I said. I said we're starting from 9, inshallah.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock on your side of the country. It's 12:46. I go to sleep at night, Shaykh.
Oh no! Last 10 days is almost there.
It's not the last. It's not the last 10 days yet.
We're training in Philly. In Philly, you started early. You're doing qiyam already. So. Inshallah, I will make it very short. Inshallah, for the Shaykh. It is an honor, and always, wallahi.
Barakallah fiik.
Advice that you would give. Seeing Medina now, and I know how it feels in your heart, especially someone who lived in Medina for a long time, the masjid being closed, and you can never imagine. Okay, we could imagine a different country maybe being closed, but not Mecca and Medina. But it did happen. What would be an advice to strengthen and to bring some sakina, some tranquility, and some peace to the Muslim's heart on at the end of our show, inshallah, today? We would love to stay more and more, but I know the Shaykh has to go, and I want him more. So I'm trying to, inshallah, bring the Shaykh more and more. What would be an advice, Shaykhna, for the?
Shaykh Ammar, I wish I could tell you something that was like some formula that I came up with. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this very a simple formula for us. No. Okay? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Our exit strategy, our way out of this is through taqwa. And the whole reason we're fasting is to attain taqwa. And so we have to stay the course. Stay that course of consistency in our worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and trying to draw closer to him, and trying to be more mindful of him in everything that we do, and trying to get to the level of at-taqwa. And at-taqwa, even though we do translate a lot of times as fear Allah, or we translate it the more politically correct way now, right? Be more mindful of Allah, because for some reason, fearing Allah is like a bad thing now. We have to, I don't know, don't get me off on the tangent.
I was going to tell you what is your definition. I was just going to ask, what is the best of definition?
There's no best definition. That's a talk for a different day, Shaykh. That really is.
Okay.
Because to go into it.
But that's a talk for another time.
I'm not promising anything. You already know that. I'm going to send you this emoji. You remember this one? Why did I promise to do that? I'm not promising anything, but inshallah we'll get there. But listen, Shaykh. At-taqwa obviously is from al-wiqaya, right? As the backdrop, which means to protect yourself. You're protecting yourself through your iman from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's punishment, from not being able to get his mercy in the hereafter. You're protecting yourself from not reaching salvation, right? So taqwa is to proceed cautiously. to avoid those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden, because Allah Azza wa Jal has forbidden them for your benefit.
No.
And we have to understand that Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't get harmed because we, do things that he has forbidden, and he doesn't benefit from us doing the things that he has, commanded us to do. The point being is, I think that being God consciousness is okay. Yani, as a translation for taqwa, yani, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always on your mind, so that but the reality is, I don't think we should also move away from that fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fear is healthy. There's that reverential fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's healthy. In fact, as human beings, we are more motivated, in fact, by fear than we are by hope. That's clear. That's clear. Look at right now, the situation that we're in with COVID-19. Everybody's staying in the house. Because of what? Because they're scared.
Tahir.
If we told people just stay in the house for 2 months, we'll give you 4 months salary. Check it out. We'll give you 4 months salary. You stay in the house for 2 months.
No, I'll say no.
Right now, we're telling you, we're not giving you no money, but you be scared of this thing. You got to stay in the house. Everybody's staying in the house. They're scared because we're motivated by fear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. He knows this. He knows this about us, right? He knows how he created the psychology of the human being. The point, Shaykh, is what? May yattaqillah. Whoever has that true taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we're trying to get through this fasting, right? No. Taqwa, you see it. You might be very thirsty. There's that drink right in front of you that you could drink if you wanted to. But the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fearing doing what he has forbidden, right? That prevents you from doing that. And if you stay the course, يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ مَخْرَجًا. Allah promised, وَوَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٍّ. At the end of the day, Allah's promise is true. He promised that if we truly show taqwa, he will make a way out. And so, inshallah, we have to stay the course, man. That's my advice. Stay that course of consistent ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah Azza wa Jalla make for us a way out. Allahu A'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhna. I want to end with the statement of Imam Al-Qayyim, rahimahullah ta'ala. And this is the statement that I like to introduce Shaykh Tahir with. And wallahi, it is an honor. I know the Shaykh doesn't like praise, but Ibn Qayyim used to say, إذا أردت أن تعرف قدرك عند الله فانظر فيما يستخدمك وبأي الأعمال يشغلك. If you want to know your level, and I can't translate when the Shaykh is here, so I'll just read it. If you want to know your value with your Lord, look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using you and what action that he has kept you busy with. So I always introduce Shaykh Tahir for a teacher in the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ. It is a dream. It is everybody's dream. And it is an honor to the individual to be in that position next to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. جزاكم الله خير شيخنا. نسأل الله أن يجمعنا مع نبينا في الفردوس إن شاء الله with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Like in his masjid, we hope to stay on his footsteps, and his path and his road till the day of judgment, inshallah, till we return and meet him. And we hope too that he's happy with our actions, inshallah, and Allah is happy with our actions, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with our actions, inshallah, in dunya and akhirah. And inshallah, we'll see you in Medina very soon. The return, inshallah. Giving hope to the brothers and sisters at the end of this show, inshallah, that we hope, inshallah, to see everybody again in Hajj and Umrah and open up the doors for them, inshallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. We ask him to accept our dua. جزاك الله خير.
آمين آمين. الله يحفظك ويبارك فيك.
نورتنا وأكرمتنا فجزاك الله خيرا.
بارك الله فيك يا شيخ عمار. جزاكم الله خير على الفرصة.
أكرمكم الله شيخنا.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.